Hi, my name's Tony and I'm from the SIC Company, and I'm here to tell you a little bit more about the all-new SIC Okeanos 14x28. So here it is, the brand new SIC Okeanos. And the Okeanos has arrived into the SIC lineup at the expense of the X Series, which is now departed, which is a very, very focused flat water touring board. And it's been replaced with a much more purposeful touring board, due really, and we've got to thank for it, the success of the SIC RS. Their hugely successful race board, which has gone on to take podium after podium. You can see, and we'll take you through it, all the detail in the Okeanos, just how much influence the success of the RS has had on this touring shape. In fact, on paper, if you take a look at the SIC brochure or at the supco.com, the details between the two, and they are the Okeanos 14x28 and then the SIC RS 14x28, on paper, they actually sound extremely similar. However, in reality, there are some slight differences in the models and also ultimately the price point that stack up to make this an incredibly attractive touring board and also one that is extremely rewarding to paddle. But look, as we always do, let's take you through from the nose down to the tail, and it's really the nose that looks very similar if you are akin to the RS from SIC, that looks, relatively similar, except when we flip it over, you'll be able to see the displacement chine under the nose, which carries out some magic for the Okeanos. But its fullness, the volume within the nose, yes, what we've seen in the RS and what makes the board incredibly stable, and that's something that ideally you want in a good touring board. As that follows back down through though, yeah, it fills out its rails quite quickly, and the finish on the board overall is absolutely superb. And to be honest, for the price point that this board's coming in at, and that's £1,699, to see a wood oak, in this case a white oak laminate finish on the deck is rare at this price point, and particularly a board of this ilk, and it's stunning. And it leads back down to the graphic on the deck as well, this Japanese wave inspired theme, and it's just a beautiful looking board. The moment we shared this on our Facebook page, when it first arrived at unboxing, the feedback was crazy. Loads and loads of really good comments on the board and just how it looked. Leading back down though, the deck pad is huge on the board. It runs very far forwards, nice small cargo net as well, so you can keep those essential items to hand, and we've got a Gore-Tex breathable vent that we see across the rest of the SIC boards. But yeah, slightly recessed deck area leading down to a famous feature really for SIC, which is their recessed carry handle. If you haven't picked up an SIC board, it makes the board incredibly easy to handle, really confidence inspiring if you like, that nothing's going to happen and you feel very connected to the board when carrying it. In terms of carrying the SIC Okeanos, it isn't as light as a full-blown RS because it is a full carbon sandwich board, whereas this board uses SIC's glass composite technology. What's fantastic to see is the amount of carbon Negra into this board, which provides a massive amount of reinforcement. And SIC haven't skimped with the carbon Negra. It runs all the way down the rails, but bearing in mind the touring nature of the board, it's also featured in the nose and the tail. So it's great to see that our SIC are expecting the board to kind of get knocked around a little bit but survive, and it's just testament to how durable this build is actually going to be. But coming in at 14.5 kilos overall, it's not the lightest, but to be honest, once you get going, and to have that additional weight with you is actually going to help you glide those distances further and further. As we follow the board down though, no great surprises. The recess lessens slightly and it raises out to a tail pad that goes, or to a deck pad rather, that runs all the way off the tail of the board in that crocodile skin finish. Small cargo net on the tail and a leashing point as well. And it's worth noting the tail on this board in terms of an overall outline shape is huge. It's actually 17 inches wide. And when you take into account the board is just 28 inches wide, yeah, that's a massive tail. And that leads through to one thing, ultimately, stability. And it is the high rails on this board and that wide tail that make this board just feel really, really stable underfoot. And that ultimately is what you want in a cruising board. But let's take the board now and roll it over onto its rails so we can have a look at the underside. And it's that handle that just makes you feel really comfortable picking up a board of this size. But what's lovely to see, you can now make out that displacement nose, which is going to work really, really well in a crosswind situation and also chop. It's just going to allow the nose to engage and help with tracking no end. That leads through to quite a flat section forward, very hard chine on the rail, but as you run back down, it starts to open up into a single concave, and it gets very, very deep single concave as it works its way down to the US fin box. And that again aids tracking no end. It also, in the rear of the board, makes it very, very stable underfoot. So if you are working on your tail turns and so on, because I reckon this would be no slouch round your local race course, yeah, it's a great feature to have in the board and one that is very reassuring when touring. Overall though, one of my favourite features of the board is the brushed finish on the tail. It just alludes, I think, to the racing aspect and heritage of the board that we see in the RS, because it has that same brushed carbon finish over the nose. And what's totally unique and something we've never seen in another touring board before is not just a US fin box in the centre that actually comes, it comes with standard this board, SIC's 8.3 inch 12K carbon fin straight from the RS, but it is running two FCS2 thruster fin boxes, and it's not designed for surfing, it's not a thruster in that sense, but the idea being is that you can actually run two very small shallow water fins on the board and drop out that 12K 8.3 inch fin, because the last thing you want to do is mark that thing up, because you would hang it on your wall. It is that beautiful. But overall, yeah, do you know what? You have to come down and test this board. It has been out on the water constantly since it's arrived. It's proved incredibly popular with a number of models already selling through. And yeah, rightly so. It is an absolutely stunning touring board and one that really carries through SIC's racing heritage in all the best way possible. Thanks for watching our video. If you've got any questions about what you've seen, why not give us a call in the shop or take a visit to the SICco.com. Alternatively, you can check out our next video here, or why not stay up to date with our latest video by checking out up here our subscribe button and clicking the notification bell.